Where's that presentation you need for your boss? Slack? Email? Drive? Lost, like your sanity, after wasting hours searching 76 tabs. Your work tools shouldn't take so much work. Dropbox Dash finds what you need fast across all your work apps, so you can focus on what matters. Spend less time searching, more time creating. Learn more at dropbox.com/dash.
It's the 77 WABC News Hour.
Talking the news with Noam Laden.
All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now,
Talking the news with Noam
on 77 WABC.
Yes, that's me, 5 o'clock. Good morning. It is Tuesday, July 22nd. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. A mix of sun and clouds today. The high going to be 79. Tonight and overnight, some passing clouds, low 70. And then Wednesday, another beautiful day, mostly sunny, high 84. If you are walking out the door with us right now, 67 and clear in Patchogue out on Long Island, 64 and clear in Cranberry over in New Jersey, and it's 66 and clear right outside our Midtown studios.
The top 5 at 5.
Who throws a baby down a garbage chute? Cops break up a real-life fight club on Long Island. Search is on for the vandals who attacked AOC's office. Will Zohran Mamdani be missed while he's in Uganda? Malcolm-Jamal Warner had some deep ties to Jersey City. All right, let's get into it at 5:01. We're getting more details on this baby girl that was rushed to the hospital after police say her uncle threw the child down a garbage chute on Staten Island yesterday. The incident happened in the Park Hill section of Staten Island. Cops got a 911 call for an emotionally disturbed person at that location. Police say a 39-year-old man, the uncle of this 1-year-old girl, threw her down a trash chute from the 3rd floor to the 1st floor.
I've been here for over 20 years, so it's saddening.
That's sad to put a baby down the garbage chute.
Those are some neighbors in the building. The baby rushed to Staten Island University Hospital North in stable condition. Thankfully, just minor scratches to her torso. Milton Franklin lives on the same floor as where this baby was thrown down the chute. And when he walked home, he came home to see the baby's mother crying and the baby going into an ambulance.
I mean, mental illness is you have to be to do something like that. Nobody in their right state of mind would do something like that to a child.
I'm hurt. I'm just going to pray that God wraps his arms around his family and that they get through the situation.
Baby's uncle quickly taken into police custody for questioning. The investigation is ongoing. An investigation underway into the shooting in Harlem last night left one man injured. NYPD cops say there were 2 people, one on a kick scooter, another on a city bike, who were firing guns. This was Lenox Avenue between 114th and 115th Street. It was like 7 o'clock last night, and it was a beautiful night. Lots of people on the street. One of the 2 shot a 30-year-old man in the upper thigh. It's not clear if he was the intended target, but as these bullets flew, people in the neighborhood went running for cover.
As they drew their guns, I made sure me and my sister hit the floor. Get down. Because we were sitting right here. We don't know where those bullets is going. And that's the problem. It's crime.
Yeah.
It's crime.
Yeah, officers posted on Lenox Avenue saw this gunman who ditched the scooter. They tried to stop him. When he refused to put down his weapon, that's when one cop fired 1 bullet. They missed. Police say that individual ended up being a 15-year-old boy who quickly surrendered after the officer fired a shot in his direction. The teen had a gun on him that was recovered. He was not injured. As for the victim, we saw video of police officers applying a tourniquet to his wounded leg. He was taken to Mount Sinai Morningside Hospital in stable condition.
It's really scary and makes people tired, tired of coming outside, trying to stay outside and be nice and comfortable, but you can't.
Yeah, so one is a 15-year-old who's in custody. He had a gun on him. Police still looking for a second person who took off on a city bike. Not clear what the motive for the shooting was and whether the individual who took a bullet was who they were aiming for. 504, a woman in critical condition after she was hit by a subway last night.
The 23-year-old apparently fell onto the tracks at the Jackson Heights Roosevelt Avenue 74th Street station in Jackson Heights and could not avoid an incoming train. She's critical. Police do not suspect foul play. It happened just before 5 p.m., impacting the rush hour commute on the 7 line and fans heading to Citi Field for the Mets game. Andrew Whitman, NBC News Radio, New York.
WABC News Time 504. The New York City carriage horse driver accused of overworking his horse Ryder felt very emotional yesterday after being acquitted of animal cruelty charges. It took a Manhattan jury less than an hour to come back with a not guilty verdict in the Ryder abuse case. And when they did, Ian McKeever, the one individual who was facing these charges, broke down sobbing in the courtroom before flashing a grin and a thumbs-up sign to the jury. Here he was after he walked out of the courtroom.
I've never, ever abused a horse. It has been a terrible 3 years for me. Everybody was looking at me like I was an abuser.
Now he says he plans to go back to work. Prosecutors had claimed the 56-year-old carriage driver had ignored signs that his horse was in distress. Ryder tumbled onto the Hell's Kitchen pavement on a hot August day. You might remember this back in 2022. Viral video showed McKeever whipping and dragging the horse. Ryder was put down a few months later due to health issues. Police continue to look for whoever vandalized Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's Bronx office. The incident led to AOC canceling a planned event in Jackson Heights after she talked to police.
Our priority is just to make sure that our team is safe, the Congresswoman's safe, and of course, the folks in our neighborhood are.
That's AOC's campaign manager, Oliver Hidalgo. Red paint, apparently intended to symbolize blood, discovered splattered all over the front of AOC's campaign office on Herschel Street in Westchester Square overnight on Monday. A sign was also tied to the metal gate that read, AOC funds genocide in Gaza. And the neighbors were surprised that she was targeted because she's been an outspoken about the war in Gaza.
She's on the left, and she's as pro-Palestinian as you can be. That's no good. They messed up the neighborhood.
Fellow Congresswoman Grace Meng says she spoke with AOC after the office was attacked Monday.
She's okay, and she's grateful for the outpouring of support. And we said to her, no matter what, her safety is most important.
So far, they have not figured out who was behind this. WABC News Time 509. Eitan Pates was the first missing child ever pictured on a milk carton. The man convicted of his kidnapping and murder now could be set free.
In 1979, when 6-year-old Eitan disappeared on his way to a Soho school bus stop, the city was shaken and heartbroken. It wasn't until 2017 when Pedro Hernandez was convicted, then sentenced to 25 years to life. Now, the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals ruled Hernandez should be retried or released because the jury was given flawed instructions. Hernandez suffers from mental illness and a low IQ, and the case against him hinged on his confession. Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg reviewing the ruling. James Flippin for 77 WABC News.
Out to Long Island, where police are keeping a close eye now on possible an anti-Semitic crime.
Nassau County Police Commissioner Patrick Ryder says the county takes anti-Semitism very seriously, and they usually know why an event happens.
When something sparks in the world internationally, you'll see a little uptick on graffiti and stuff, whether it's anti-Israel, pro-Palestine, anti-Trump, because that's always the shot they take. It's like the catch-all. But at the end of the day, we have that zero tolerance, and we strictly enforce it.
Ryder says there will always be a full investigation into finding out who did it and to stop it before it gets out of control. Lisa G., 77 WABC News.
5:10, let's go down to Washington. The White House blaming the policies of former President Biden for the shooting of that off-duty Border Patrol officer here in the city on Sunday. That was the officer who was shot underneath the George Washington Bridge. It was actually late Saturday night. White House spokesperson Caroline Leavitt says Biden's immigration policies allowed for that gunman, an illegal immigrant, to enter the U.S. and roam free.
This tragedy that took place over the weekend at the hands of yet another illegal alien invader who was allowed into our country and released by the Biden administration.
Leavitt says it's cases like these that led to Trump's 2024 victory.
This is exactly why President Trump was elected into office with an overwhelming mandate to secure our homeland.
Now, Mayor Adams pushing back against all that. You had U.S. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem also going after New York City yesterday after that border agent was shot by an illegal immigrant in Upper Manhattan. Mayor Adams says other sanctuary cities, he says he, unlike on sanctuary cities, is doing what he can to protect New York City.
Let everyone know that I have nothing to do with the rules that are put in place. I just carry out the rules. The rules are if you're in the city of New York, you have a right to services.
The mayor seemed to saddle former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, who, of course, is also running for New York City mayor, with blame for bail reform laws that create a revolving door system.
I'm not protecting them. I'm very clear, always have been clear. Stop the revolving door system, go after the dangerous migrants and asylum seekers who are here, and allow hardworking people who are in this city to go on with their lives.
Meanwhile, border czar Tom Homan says he'll flood New York City with ICE officers. Mayor Adams hopes he focuses on dangerous individuals.
If he's going to assist us to go after those individuals, I welcome it. If it's going to be to go after everyday individuals who are trying to complete the path to be a citizen, then I don't think we should do that.
While we're talking immigration, an agreement between the White House and lawyers for Kilmar Abrego Garcia has reportedly been reached now.
His attorneys are asking that any ruling to release him be delayed by 30 days so that they can evaluate their options. The legal team says that the Department of Justice isn't objecting to their request. The DOJ has said that Abrego Garcia would be picked up by ICE agents if he's released from custody. He's facing human smuggling charges in Tennessee. I'm Brian Shook.
In Los Angeles, Mayor Karen Bass is renewing her call for an end to the deployment of National Guard troops and Marines to Los Angeles amid federal immigration enforcement operations there.
They are not authorized to make arrests. They are not doing the work of our local and state law enforcement. They're not trained to do that, and they were never needed to do that.
The mayor says there's evidence of the needlessness, as she calls it, of the troops in L.A. She says hundreds of members can be seen playing video games with nothing to do.
Neither of whom are trained and ready to do urban, whether you are doing crowd control or dealing with conflicts on a domestic basis. That is not what our Marines do.
And we've been watching as some of those troops have been taken away. 5:14, the Trump administration releasing 230,000 documents from the Martin Luther King Jr. assassination files.
Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard says the documents detail the FBI's investigation into the assassination, the discussion of potential leads, information about assassin James Earl Ray's former cellmate, and more. Gabbard says President Trump's earlier executive order paved the way for files on former President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and Dr. King to be released. King was fatally shot in Memphis on April 4th, 1968. He was 39. I'm Chris Caraccio.
WABC News Time 514. A report from the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office says President Trump's big, beautiful bill is expected to add trillions to the national debt.
The CBO has published a new analysis that finds the spending bill will increase the national debt by $3.4 trillion over the next 10 years. It said the $1.1 trillion in spending cuts are outpaced by $4.5 trillion in decreased revenue. The legislation was signed into law by Trump on the 4th of July after it was narrowly passed by Congress. The CBO also said the number of people without health insurance will increase by 10 million by 2034 due to the law. I'm Mark Mayfield.
All right, in a moment, we'll go down to Texas, where all that flooding took place on July 4th, get an update on the cleanup and some numbers, some interesting stuff coming out of Texas, including some conspiracy theories surrounding that flooding. We'll get into that in just a moment, but just 5:15, let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk. Good morning, Justin Ellick.
Good morning to you, Noam Laden. Started here on the diamond for the Metsies at home in Queens. Juan Soto hit a tying single in the 7th inning. Francisco Alvarez delivered a big double in his return from the minors, and the Mets rallied past the LA Angels 7-5 for their second straight win. Brett Beatty launched a 2-run homer for the Mets, who erased an early 4-run deficit to match their largest comeback victory this season. They scored the go-ahead run in the 8th on an error by catcher Logan O'Hoppe, and Brendan Nimmo added a sac fly that made it 7-5. After starter Kodai Senga was ineffective in getting tagged for 4 earned runs in 3 innings, the bullpen did hold on. Brooks Raley pitched a scoreless 8th in his second outing since coming back from Tommy John surgery, earning his first win since April of 2024, and Edwin Diaz struck out the 2-3-4 hitters in the 9th for his 20th save in 22 opportunities. Up next for the Mets, who remain a half game back of Philadelphia for first place in the NL East, Frankie Montas is tabbed to start in the middle game of this 3-game series against the Angels tonight. First pitch is scheduled for 7:10 p.m. from Citi Field. In Toronto, the Yankees lost the opener of their crucial 3-game series against the first-place Blue Jays. The final score 4-1. Yankees third baseman Oswald Peraza and shortstop Anthony Volpe both made throwing errors that led to runs in the 5th. Volpe has 12 errors this season, one behind San Francisco shortstop Willie Adames, who entered play yesterday with a major league leading 13. And if you're not going to hit Volpe, then you might as well field. And if you can't do either of those, then maybe you shouldn't be on the team. Giancarlo Stanton led off the 4th with his 5th homer, but that was all the Yankees got against Toronto starter Kevin Gausman. New York's Carlos Rodon allowed 4 runs and 6 hits in 5 innings. Up next for the Yanks, who now sit 4 games back of the Blue Jays for first place in the AL East, the rookie Cam Schlittler will get the start in tonight's middle game, scheduled for a 7:07 p.m. first pitch up north. And to the NFL here, we're a day closer. Veterans reporting for the start of training camp for both the Jets and the Giants today, with open practices beginning tomorrow for the G-men and on Friday for Gang Green.
When does preseason football begin? Do you know?
Oh, that's a good
August,
question.
probably.
I gotta check the exact dates. Yeah, well, of course, but I gotta check the exact dates on those Week 1 preseason games for you. I'll have them next time for you, Noma. But that's your sports. I'm Justin Ellick on 77 WABC.
WABC News Time 520. Let's go down to Texas. Crews in the Texas Hill Country wrapping up their reports on this month's deadly flooding, and they say it's unlike the state has ever seen before.
Our debris management people have told us, they said, this is bigger than Rockport Hurricane Harvey. You have more debris.
Yeah, so Kerr County engineer Charlie Hastings, who you're hearing there, says that at the peak, the Guadalupe River was flowing at a rate of 900,000 gallons of water per second. So 3 still missing, but county commissioners said over the weekend that dozens of people who were presumed dead were actually just merely tourists who have left town after July 4th and never checked back in. So that's the good news, is the numbers are not as high, right? We had 160 missing for a while. Now it's just 3.
It was a tsunami. It was an inland tsunami, and it ripped everything up. Our model is showing heights of 40 feet, and we already know from talking to people 55 feet on some parts of the river. You can't live through that.
Yeah, and Hastings was saying this was more like a 500-year flood than a 100-year one. And then there's all these conspiracies surrounding the flooding. Have you heard of any of these? A California-based cloud seeding company is accused of causing the deadly flooding in Texas. Elected officials in the Lone Star State say they are frustrated by these conspiracy theories that are being shared on social media.
Speaking of those false rumors, I think I stomp out 3 or 4 every day.
Yeah, so the internet theory has a company called Rainmaker, which is based in El Segundo, doing some cloud seeding in Texas to cause the flood. Now, Rainmaker has been trying to shoot down this rumor with the help of scientists at Texas A&M, which called the suggestion just complete nonsense.
Oh, my gosh, this is absurd. If it sounds too crazy to believe, call us. Because it usually is.
Yeah, people will believe whatever they read.
The false rumors are rampant. Yeah. Some of them just flat, not false, they're just lies.
Yeah, but yesterday they felt the need to shoot them down. 522 down to Washington, where Senate Majority Leader John Thune says he's open to President Trump's call now to cancel the August recess.
According to Thune, he and Trump have discussed the idea after the president urged the GOP leader to keep senators in Washington to quickly confirm his nominees. Thune told reporters that he was considering the move and accused Democrats of breaking precedent by stalling Trump's other nominees. I'm Brian Shook.
The White House is banning the Wall Street Journal now from traveling with President Trump during an upcoming trip.
The Wall Street Journal won't be on the president's trip to Scotland, and the announcement comes after the outlet reported on Trump's alleged letter to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Trump has filed a lawsuit against the Journal alleging defamation, and he has denied writing the letter. According to White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, the Wall Street Journal or any other news outlet are not guaranteed special access to cover President Trump. I'm Mark Mayfield.
WABC News Time 523. Let's go overseas. Gaza's health ministry says dozens of Palestinians dead following an attack on people waiting for United Nations food supply trucks this week. Correspondent Matt Bradley has more.
According to officials, yesterday was the deadliest day of these aid distribution sites, and not just for the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, that U.S. and Israeli-backed group, but also for United Nations aid distribution. And that is where this latest incident occurred. The Israelis are continuing to expand their operations in the Gaza Strip. They're issuing a sprawling new evacuation order just around the northern part, or in the central part of the Gaza Strip, that will see what looks like tens of thousands of people once again displaced from their homes. We're seeing this as the Israelis are continuing their strikes against Syria, another theater of conflict. Israel's defense ministry said that they were doing this in order to defend the Druze religious minority there. But this has also raised a lot of attention worldwide and a lot more criticism.
And there are this morning calls to end the war in Gaza. They're growing louder, spreading around the globe. Correspondent Ross Cullen has more on this joint statement that was released that says the suffering of civilians in Gaza has reached new depths.
The statement was signed by more than 20 nations, among them Germany, Canada, Switzerland and Australia. And as well as calling for an immediate end to the war in Gaza, it criticised the Israeli government's aid delivery model, saying it was, quote, dangerous, fuels instability and deprives Gazans of human dignity. It comes as Israel on Monday launched air raids and a ground operation in the Deir al-Balah area of the Palestinian territory, a key hub for humanitarian efforts in the enclave. Ross Cullen, Paris.
WABC News Time 525. While we're overseas, there are reports President Trump could visit China on his way to the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in South Korea that takes place later this year, or meet with China's president on the sidelines of that event. Laura Westbrook has more.
Earlier this month, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi and U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio had their first face-to-face meeting. This was seen as an important step towards Presidents Donald Trump and Xi Jinping meeting. Rubio told reporters after his meeting with Wang that there was a strong desire on both sides for a meeting between the two presidents. Meanwhile, in a phone call last month, Xi invited Trump and his wife to visit China, an invitation the U.S. president reciprocated. The two countries have been trying to negotiate an end to an escalating tit-for-tat trade war that has upended global trade and supply chains, with Donald Trump setting a deadline of August 12th for the U.S. and China to reach a durable tariff agreement.
And that APEC summit would take place, or is taking place, from October 30th to November 1st. 526, let's bring it back home. Alaska Airlines has been scrambling to get its flights back on schedule over the last 24 hours following that ground stop Sunday into Monday that affected its entire fleet and that of a subsidiary, Horizon Air. Correspondent Tom Costello reports the airline is blaming computer system outage.
Alaska says it finally resolved the IT issue in the early morning hours. The problem is now it needs to play catch up. And of course, as you know, with this very busy summer travel season, planes are for the most part full.
Yeah, it couldn't happen at a worse time. It's not clear whether the outage was the result of a hacker or just some sort of IT problem.
They've got to get back on schedule, rebook passengers, get them back on planes wherever they were hoping to go, and then decide how, in fact, this happened. Was it a hack, which is what we have seen earlier in the summer with hackers targeting airlines, or was it another IT issue?
Yeah, they just don't know yet. The tributes continue to pour in for Malcolm-Jamal Warner, the Cosby Show actor, drowned Sunday while vacationing in Costa Rica. He was just 54 years old, and he is from the tri-state. Jersey City was where he was born. He lived in New York City for a long time, so lots of people responding, including the head of the Professional Children's School, where he went for classes while he was shooting The Cosby Show in Brooklyn, and the head of that school says he would come back often to talk with students.
Malcolm so touched so many lives that I think that many people are going to be deeply impacted. He was well-grounded. I think he's thoughtful. I think he never grew too sort of, impressed with what his own success was. He was welcoming and engaging.
Now, he kept a very quiet, private life. We didn't know much about his wife or his daughter. He was with his daughter when this accident took place in Costa Rica on Sunday. He talked in an interview about some of his proudest achievements. And some of it had to do with his post-Cosby career because, of course, back in the 80s, he was one of the more well-known actors in the world, being on what was the #1 show in the 1980s.
My proudest achievement is being able to have a post-Cosby life and a post-Cosby career and still have my head on as straight as possible.
Yeah, when you watch these interviews with him, and you probably have seen some over the last 24 hours, he just seemed like a nice guy.
I've had such an awesome life. I'm literally, I've got my ups and downs and all of that. But if I die tomorrow, I know I would go with a smile on my face.
And Bill Cosby was sharing his thoughts following the death of his on-screen son. He told ABC yesterday that Warner was always a great studier who enjoyed working with the show. The two continued, he said, to speak regularly long after the Cosby Show ended. I was looking yesterday. You know how many people watched at the height of the show? To think about an audience this large, it's hard to remember how TV was back in the 80s. But when they were the #1 show on TV on NBC on Thursday nights, 30 million people on average would watch an episode. So you get the sense of just how big he was. In Jersey City, where he was born, you had people there who remember him from the neighborhood and shocked by what took place.
It was cool to see black figures like that on TV, especially at a time where everything is very wholesome.
Yeah, so again, he reportedly drowned while vacationing in Costa Rica. And we're getting the secondary report this morning that somebody he was with at the time is in critical condition.
It's the 77 WABC News Hour.
Talking the news with Noam Laden.
All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now,
Talking the news with Noam.
On 77 WABC.
Yes, that's me. Good morning. It is Tuesday, July 22nd. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. Mix of sun and clouds. Today, another beauty. High 79. Tonight and overnight, some passing clouds, low 70. And then Wednesday, we kind of do it all over again. A little warmer. Sunshine, high 84. If you are walking out the door with us right now, so happy you are. 67 and clear in Patchogue out on Long Island. 64 and clear in Cranberry over in New Jersey. And it's 66 and clear right outside our Midtown studios. WABC News Time 5:39. Suffolk County Police busting what they call an illegal fight club at a home in Shirley on Long Island. When police arrived, they saw a fight break out. Someone even fired a gun. More than a dozen people let out of the house in handcuffs. Others got away. They ran away. So illegal street fighting videos posted online by this group called Guns Down, Gloves Up in Philadelphia. They say that's what they were shooting here. And what organizers of this group, these street fighting videos, say is this is an alternative to gunplay. These videos are incredibly popular on social media. They have these fights usually in the Philly, New Jersey area. But apparently they were shooting on Long Island over the weekend, and cops there, of course, not happy that there's an illegal fight club going on.
Some people may think it's a good motivation to have people settle their disputes by meeting up and agreeing to fight it out. But anytime you get a large gathering of people, things can go wrong.
Yeah, I've seen these videos before. They're very raw. The fighting's very raw. They have people around screaming and yelling. Again, the idea is they're trying to get people not to resolve their differences without using a gun, but the police here, they don't want this. And the gun that they apparently pulled out during these fights was firing blanks.
The gun was designed to fire blanks. It wasn't a firearm that expelled the projectile, but the blanks were fired close enough to two individuals to injure them.
Yeah, Suffolk County Police say, okay, you want to shoot these videos, go somewhere else and do it.
The gun was designed to fire blanks. It wasn't a firearm.
You said that already. But anyway, they say they don't want these videos in their neighborhood. They made those arrests yesterday. They're continuing to look for others who are involved in this fight club. 541 murder charges for a Queens man police say killed his wife and young daughter before trying to kill himself over the weekend.
Ernesto Cruz is charged with murder and a weapons count. Police say the 54-year-old stabbed his wife and their 2-year-old daughter to death Saturday night in Ridgewood, then plunged the knife into his own chest. He survived. Channel 7 reports Cruz was on a FaceTime call with his nephew as it happened. The nephew called police. The dead, identified as home health aide Anna Palatagazi Mopasita and their 2-year-old daughter Annalise Cruz. Andrew Whitman, NBC News Radio, New York.
WABC News Time 542. Governor Hochul says 150 school districts have now submitted plans for student smartphone restrictions this fall, and she's reminding other school districts that their plans are due August 1.
No longer will children in the state of New York be bombarded with addictive algorithms, all night long messaging, and having their private information sold.
The governor was holding a round table in Albany yesterday saying that cell phone use during school hours is impairing learning, contributing to a national mental health crisis among kids. And she's more convinced than ever that restrictions will force kids to make eye contact again. Have you tried making eye contact with a teenager lately? Not easy.
You can no longer monetize our children's mental health. Our kids are struggling with depression, suicidal thoughts, particularly young girls. I'm convinced that we're going to have students emerge as more highly functioning adults. They'll be used to eye contact, in-person friendships.
And she says she's still waiting on some plans from other school districts of how they'll implement this phone ban come the new school year. 543, following months of nonstop pavement pounding that culminated in a shocking win, Democratic mayoral nominee Zohran Mamdani is out of the country through the end of the month. In a social media post we played for you yesterday, he explained that he and his wife are visiting his birth country, Uganda, celebrating their wedding with family and friends. You may not, or maybe you do know this. Zohran Mamdani was born and raised in Uganda until he was 7 years old, and that's when his family moved to New York City. So there's all kinds of thoughts as what this means for the election cycle. Is it a big deal that he's taking time off to go to Uganda? A Republican consultant, his name is Bill O'Reilly, says it's not unusual that he's doing this, that this is the right time maybe to take off time.
It's not that unusual that he's doing it. I think he can, he can take the time off, but I think he cleared it politically. His team obviously spoke about it, went through it. And I think they like the idea of doing something a little bit out of the ordinary to get some attention.
You'll remember in 2021, then Mayor-elect Eric Adams, he traveled to the Dominican Republic, but he was already mayor-elect, and then Ghana before taking office. More from Bill O'Reilly.
But I think Mamdani thinks the trip to Uganda strengthens his candidacy because it strengthens his image as the other. And he's playing as the other, almost like Trump played as the other in the Republican Party.
Okay, so Mamdani's state assembly office, which is in Astoria, that was the site of a protest, even though he's in Uganda, by an Italian-American group that says Mamdani's past treatment of Christopher Columbus statues is disrespectful, and they want to know they won't stand for it.
We want somebody that's going to be there for everyone, not just one type. We want somebody that's going to be good for all types of people, the elderly, the kids, the working class people, the people that are making money in the community, the police department.
There were some counter-protesters showed up yesterday to support Mamdani, and in a moment, we're going to hear from Curtis Sliwa, who was up to some interesting stuff yesterday. But first, 5:45, let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk, and here's Justin Ellis.
Thank you, Noam Layden. Start here on the diamond out in Queens. Juan Soto hit a tying single in the seventh. Francisco Alvarez delivered a big double in his return from the minors, and the Mets rallied past the LA Angels 7-5 for their second straight win. Brett Betty launched a 2-run homer for the Mets, who erased an early 4-run deficit to match their largest comeback victory this season. They scored the go-ahead run in the eighth on an error by catcher Logan O'Hoppe, and Brendan Nimmo added a sac fly that made it 7-5. After starter Kodai Sengal was ineffective in getting tagged for 4 earned runs in 3 innings, the bullpen held on. Brooks Raley pitched a scoreless eighth in his second outing since coming back back from TJ surgery, earning his first win since April of 2024. And Edwin Diaz struck out the 2-3-4 hitters in the ninth for his 20th save and 22 opportunities. Up next for the Mets, who remain a half game back of Philadelphia for first place in the NL East, Frankie Montas is tabbed to start in the middle game of this 3-game series against the Angels tonight. First pitch is scheduled for 7:10 p.m. from Citi Field. In Toronto, the Yankees lost the opener of their crucial 3-game series against the first-place Blue Jays. The final score 4-1. Yankees third baseman Oswald Peraza and shortstop Anthony Volpe both made throwing errors that led to runs in the fifth. Volpe has 12 errors this season, one behind San Francisco shortstop Willie Adames, who entered play yesterday with a major league leading 13. Giancarlo Stanton led up the fourth with his fifth homer. That was all the Yankees got against Toronto starter Kevin Gausman. New York's Carlos Rodon allowed 4 runs, 2 earned, and 6 hits in 5 innings. Up next for the Yankees, who now sit 4 games back of the Blue Jays for first in the East. The rookie Cam Schlittler will get the start in tonight's middle game, scheduled for a 7:07 p.m. first pitch up north. And to the NFL, we're one day closer here. Veterans are reporting for the start of training camp for both the Jets and the Giants today. The open practices beginning tomorrow for the G-Men and on Friday for Gang Green. That is your sports nominated. And I'm Justin Alec on 77 WABC.
WABC News Time 5:49. Let's go back out to the campaign for mayor. Yesterday, Republican mayoral candidate Curtis Sliwa was asking what's going on at animal care centers. We told you yesterday ACC said they had taken on too many pets, could not take any more in. He called the operation horrific and arcane, and he says that we will have no-kill shelters, which we should already have here in New York City. He says Los Angeles has it. Austin, Texas already has it. He held that press conference in front of ACC yesterday, and he was talking to New York One. I saw he did an interview with them where he talked about the pressure to do this unity candidate against Zohran Mamdani. They're still talking about this, and he says it's not going to happen. He says nobody's dropping out of the race, not Mayor Adams, not Andrew Cuomo, and definitely not him.
I do my campaigning on the subway. You never see them in the subway other than for a photo. Curtis Lee was here 24/7, 365. I'm in it. I'll be there till November 4th. It's neck and neck between Mamdani, Cuomo, Sliwa, and Eric Adams. He's so far down, he can't compete.
Yeah, so he also said he's not going to seek the endorsement of President Donald Trump.
I respect the president, but I think in a place like New York City, he has oftentimes said maybe he should stay out of it.
And so far, for the most part, I mean, he's commented on it, but made no endorsements as of yet. And the Mayor Adams, he yesterday was talking about this drone program designed to spot subway surfers in New York City. He says it's making a real difference. They've been able to take 200 subway surfers off the tops of moving trains before they got hurt or killed under this drone enforcement program that launched in late 2023.
Young people often do things that are reckless, not understanding the full impact of it. That's why we must make adult decisions to ensure that we keep them at a harm's way.
The drones have cameras with long-range zoom to provide live aerial surveillance to help officers intervene. 16 people killed in subway surfing accidents since 2022, and a number of others have been seriously hurt.
Our list of 63 repeat offenders has an average age of 14. Some of them have been caught doing this 3, 4, 5 times.
And these videos pop into my TikTok feed all the time, so I imagine it's millions of others. The practice has grown in popularity over recent years, much to the dismay of local officials. And you heard Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch there says the drone program has helped spot young people riding on top of subway cars and be able to slow down the trains in some cases, or at least send police officers to the next stop to get them off the top of those trains. 5:52 up to the Hudson Valley, where there's just a shocking case of animal cruelty in the town of Wallkill that has led to the arrest of a dog owner on a felony charge after a dog was found strangled and left in a dumpster behind an apartment complex there. Police officers responding to Country Manor Apartments after neighbors discovered the dog and alerted management.
The dog was strangled in the dumpster. My nephew, he went over into his coffee cup and found the dog in there. I called the office, police came.
That's a neighbor, Robert Wilson, who was speaking to News 12 yesterday. He says he and his nephew found that dog. Police say 24-year-old Damani Guerra, a resident of the complex, admitted to lifting the dog by its leash, strangling it with its harness before placing it into the dumpster. He's been arrested, charged with aggravated cruelty to animals. As neighbors say, why would you even bother having a dog if you're going to be so cruel to it?
To strangle a dog? Why would you do that? Why would you even get the dog to begin with?
And police confirming now there's an investigation into the possible death of a second animal because neighbors say they saw him with more than one dog.
And they only found one in the dumpster, and they're looking for where the other dog is. I hate to see people abuse animals. I had animals for years.
Hudson Valley SPCA putting out a statement yesterday saying this person must be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. 5:53, a man under arrest for arson charges for allegedly setting NYPD vehicles on fire last month in Brooklyn. Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch says Ja'Kai McCrae turned himself into police yesterday morning. This was the individual who set all those cars on fire, and they knew who he was, but they just couldn't find him. Well, now he's turned himself in.
The NYPD identified Mr. McCrae in mid-June through forensics and video evidence, and today he agreed to surrender through his attorney.
Cops allege he broke into an NYPD vehicle parking lot by DeKalb and Central Avenues in Bushwick and set multiple vehicles on fire, causing about $1 million in damage. As police continue to look for whoever vandalized Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's Bronx office Sunday into Monday. The incident led to AOC canceling a planned event in Jackson Heights yesterday after talking with police.
Our priority is just to make sure that our team is safe, the Congresswoman is safe, and of course, the folks in our neighborhood are.
That's AOC's campaign manager. Red paint, apparently intended to symbolize blood, discovered splattered all over the front of her office in Westchester Square. A sign tied to the metal gate read, AOC funds genocide in Gaza. Now, neighbors near this office say she's been pretty outspoken about the war in Gaza, so they're surprised they're going after her.
She's on the left, and she's as pro-Palestinian as you can be. That's no good. They messed up the neighborhood.
Now, so far, police don't know who exactly is behind this, but of course there's cameras everywhere. They think it's just a matter of time. The couple that went viral after being caught on camera at that recent Coldplay concert has learned a hard lesson that the rest of us should follow.
We live in a very intrusive world in terms of cameras and digital footprints. And while it can take 10 to 20 years to build a reputation, you can lose yours in a moment. That's according to Charles Lindsay, an associate professor of marketing at the University of Buffalo. He tells the New York Times that if you're in a public place, you should have no expectations that you'll have privacy because there are cameras everywhere in a public park, a store, and at a Coldplay concert. And once you're caught on camera, you can't take it back. Lisa G., 77 WABC News.
It's a warning I give to my kids all the time. When you post online, that goes everywhere. It's never forgotten, and there's cameras everywhere. So, in some ways it's a good thing, in others it's not such a great thing. It's been almost 40 years since one of the Catskills' most famous resorts was closed and virtually abandoned, but now it's being resurrected in a forthcoming TV series.
It'll be called The Mountains, and Deadline reports it'll be written by New Jersey writer Alan Zweibel, who spent summers at Grossinger's as a kid. It'll trace Grossinger's evolution starting in 1950 through its heyday and explore how it became not just a resort, but a stage for some of the greatest entertainers of a generation, as well as a place where Jewish families could go after facing discrimination elsewhere. It's not yet known where the series will appear. I'm Larry Kofsky.
Thanks for listening to the News Hour with Noam Laden. You can hear the News Hour with Noam Laden weekday mornings at 5 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode, so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
With so many options,
Why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 350 plus undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.